This actually happened on Tuesday morning. We got notification that the Irish boat was in distress from the Irish Coastguards at Malin Head. We made contact with the vessel, and initially they only required a pump just to pump out water that was in the hull. The Coast Guard rescue helicopter from here at Stornoway was sent to the scene, which was about 50 miles north of the Outer Hebrides, out in the North Atlantic. And upon arrival, they put the pump down to the crew on the board the fishing boat, but unfortunately the pump didn't work, and the fishing boat continued to flood to the extent where they decided to take two crew off and airlift them to the sister ship called the Star of Hope, which was alongside the Uda Neva at the time. As they were attempting to do that, so the boat actually rolled over, and that's where you pick up the footage that you've been showing this morning. And because of the weather conditions up there, the seas were very rough with a southerly force 7 wind. Obviously, out in that North Atlantic, you get quite a good swell going as well, and that seems to be what's actually swept the crew off the side of the boat as it sort of capsized and started to sink.
This footage is just remarkable, and you can see the speed with which it's happening in real time. These fishermen swept off that boat. It goes without saying how lucky they were to have that crew, the Maritime Coast Guard crew there to rescue them. Just how difficult an operation is it to winch people to safety in those kinds of conditions?
In those sorts of conditions, it can be extremely tricky for the helicopter crew, especially in those sorts of sea conditions where not only the boat's moving up and down, but also side to side. The pilots have got to keep the aircraft steady. The winch operator has got to keep the winch line tight, and he's got to keep control over that. And again, you've got the winchman down in the water there that's trying to pull the people to safety. In this particular case, two of the fishing boat's crew managed to get into a life raft that deployed as the boat sunk, and their sister ship picked them up. They were safe and well, no harm at all. The other three members of the crew ended up in the water, as you can see from the footage, and they were all airlifted by the helicopter back here to Stornoway, suffering from mild hypothermia. But I'm happy to report that they were released from hospital, and I believe that they're now back home in Ireland.
Now, you say they were suffering from mild hypothermia. That was after being in the water, for just a matter of minutes. If that helicopter hadn't been there, just how long would they have survived for, do you think?
And at this time of year in the North Atlantic, we give the survival time, the sensible survival time, with somebody that's not wearing a life jacket or any other type of buoyancy or a survival suit. It could be as low as 15 to 20 minutes in these sorts of sea temperatures.